Hey everyone, it's Anthony Allen Ramos. All right, queer photographer and photojournalist Maxwell Poth. His new book, Queer Young America, it's out now. And let me tell you, it's amazing. It tells the stories of 73 queer youth from all across rural America. It's something that he worked on for more than 2 years. Something very exciting is that the Los Angeles LGBT Center is going to be featuring a lot of the work from the book starting July 29th in a special event from 6 to 10 p.m. You can get tickets now. And guess what? If you can't make it on the 29th, it's going to be continuing to be on display through September. And I'm so excited to be chatting with Maxwell right now. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I know this has been such a labor of love. I mentioned, this book, 2.5 years, 73 queer youth. I remember when you told me you were going to set out on this journey. I mean,
Yeah.
the response has been so great. How are you feeling knowing that, this is really, touching so many people, and now it's going to live on at the Los Angeles LGBT Center?
Yeah. It's really fun. It's really exciting. I've been working on this for like 2 years. So I was getting I talk about it every day. I'm working on it every day. And then now just seeing it out in the open is just like really cool, really rewarding, really fun to see all these queer kids holding it in their hands and reading it. So it's honestly just been like such a journey, and I'm really thankful even for the center to have this exhibit here and this show here, so it can just be up for almost 2 months. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm such a firm believer in everything happens for a reason. I think about, the where we were in the world when you started this project to
Mhm.
now when it's
Mhm.
released could not be a better time. I mean, I say a more important time for people to get to know kids like that you're featuring, because we know our country is we're having a really rough time when it comes to our community with queer youth. So I think, how amazing that you get to now put this into the world and feature 73 queer young people from all across rural America. Give people some context, who maybe haven't, seen the book yet, like of how you kind of went about, found these kids and all of that.
Yeah. So I have been working on this project for a while, but so I kind of like had with Project Contrast, so I kind of had an idea of how I was going to find these kids, which is, I usually work through LGBT centers. I usually work through youth groups, GSAs, even high schools will connect me to the GSAs. But then, as you mentioned, a global pandemic hit. And I got the book deal right when the pandemic started. And I was just like, okay, well, this kids stopped going to centers. They weren't going to school. It was honestly so hard to try and contact them that way. And I had to come up with so many different ways to talk to them and to reach out and to connect. So, on top of those youth groups and centers, I had to try and find them. I found them through like hashtags. I found them through Facebook groups with like moms with queer kids. Really, like any way possible is how I found these kids, even in the media with articles of them like working on things that the media wanted to highlight them on. So yeah, kind of like every which way is how I found some of these kids. One kid I even found just by he liked one of my images on Instagram, and I was like, oh, who's this? And then he ended up being like this young queer kid in Texas where I was going, and I was like, well, that's a sign. So yeah, it's been really interesting.
Were these all kids that you felt like were in a way an activist in their own community that were doing good work when it comes to the movement, or was it just people that you found that were just interesting queer people?
Both for sure.
Mhm.
Definitely, I found some kids that are huge advocates in their communities, and even ones that are just just being normal teenagers, just going to school, trying to live their everyday life. Yeah.
And I think about, for anyone that doesn't know you yet, you grew up in Utah, obviously, a state that is can still be tricky for LGBTQ youth. I think often I ask people what it would have been like for young you to have had a book like this to kind of open up and be like, oh my gosh, look at all of these amazing queer kids all over the country. What would that have been like for you?
I would have changed my freaking life, which is, one of the main reasons I made this book. Like, I totally wish, as a closeted kid, I mean, any queer person can relate to this, where, you know, going in my library and pulling books that help me learn about myself and help me feel safe and help me find like discover myself more, you know, even if they weren't queer books, I definitely found solace in books. So, oh my gosh, yeah, if I had a book like this, it would have I would have found my confidence so much sooner, you know?
Absolutely. And that's so important. And I think you think about there's probably so many kids that are finding their confidence and finding their way thanks to your book. So I love to think about that. For anyone that is in the LA area, like I mentioned, the Los Angeles LGBT Center, starting Saturday, July 29th, is a great event. It's from 6 to 10 p.m. Isis King is going to be there with you. Isis, of course, the amazing actress, currently in With Love, so many other things. Also wrote the foreword for your book. What is this event going to be like? Because like I said, it's the LA LGBT Center is so great. It's such a great space. They revamped it, and I think it's great that they're going to be putting you know, your work on display for a lot of months.
Yeah, yeah. So the what is the exhibit going to be like, or like
Yeah, just or the event, because I know you're going
yeah.
to do a conversation with Isis too, right?
Yeah, yeah. So it's really just going to be like a gathering to come see the book blown up on these walls, to see these kids and their faces. So I'm really excited for that. You know, you can obviously, you know, you'll come and have a drink, you can have some snacks, and really just learn that this book exists. And then, yeah, there's going to be a panel with Isis King and I talking about, you know, the book, talking about, I'm sure, just like personal questions and things like that. But yeah, I'm really glad Isis is going to come. She is so wonderful, such a full circle moment with her from when I used to watch her in my home as a kid, and now being a friend of hers and having her write this forward of my book. So
What was
yeah,
it that you were watching her on as a kid?
America's Next Top Model.
I figured as much. I know, I
Oh,
figured, but yeah, because you're a little
yeah,
younger than me.
yeah, a
But
little
just
bit.
a little bit. No, I know. But I did see that too. And what a moment. And also With Love is so great. Uh,
Oh, so good.
so good. Have you thought about, I know it's so hard whenever I ask any artist, like they're in a project still. Have you thought about what the next project, what you want to do next? Because you always, what I love so much is, you know, you're so talented, but you always do something that is, it's not just a project, it's something that aims to do good things in the world. And I know that's so important to you.
Yeah, thank you. I definitely have some things in the works. Have some meetings. You know, this is Hollywood though, so we're,
Yes.
you know, just cross my fingers. But yeah, I definitely plan on continuing this journey in highlighting queer youth. With Project Contrast, always doing that. You know, with Project Contrast, we're evolving, we're growing. So yeah, I definitely do have like other books coming out, or like in the works that we're working on, but I don't want to share too much. I want it to be a surprise.
Yes, well, we are here for it. Everyone, just a reminder that Young Queer America is out right now. You can get it wherever you get books. And if you're in the LA area or want to be in the LA area, starting July 29th at the Los Angeles LGBT Center, the photography is going to be on display. And the special event will be Saturday, July 29th. You can get your tickets now, featuring Maxwell and Isis King. So, you know, good luck with that. It's going to be great. And I hope to see you soon.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for having me.